What is up, y'all? It's Amari. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be fixing common makeup mistakes that I used to do, that you maybe do, and babe, it's not your products, it's your technique. And without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get into the common mistakes that you probably make, that I used to make as well, and the fixes for them, so we can have better, long-lasting, skin-like finish makeup. So the very first mistake I see people make is not doing proper skin prep before getting into the makeup routine. So let's just stop that altogether. And I feel like one myth that I used to take it and run with, I'd be like, oh, well, my skin is kind of oily / combination. I don't need to put anything else on because it's just gonna make me more oily. Nope. Even when you have oily skin, your skin still needs hydration.
Next up, we have primer, and what I used to do with primer, it was just go in with primer, apply it to my face, then immediately after go in with foundation. And what that does is causes separation, because the foundation and the primer are just mixing now, and they're not mixing and becoming friends. They mix and becoming enemies, and now your makeup looks a mess. So the fix for this is go in with your primer, push it into your skin, and then sit there for about 5 minutes and just let that primer sink into your pores and sink into your skin, so you know it's completely dried down before you go in with the next thing. Next, we have brows. So I accidentally did my brows after my foundation here. That could be labeled as a mistake. However, that really wasn't intentional. But the mistake I would like to highlight is going too dark on the brows. I feel like that was a common mistake that I used to make, was making my brows way too dark, and I felt like it just dragged my face down. So if you're doing that same thing and wonder like, why is my face not looking snatched? It could be that you're dragging your face down but making your brows too dark. So here's the fix. Instead of harsh looking brows that drag your face down, think of soft hair-like strokes, and I'm just following my natural brow.
And then using a light hand, I don't hold it super close all the way up here. I hold the brow brush farther back so I can go a little bit lighter.
And as you see, I'm brushing through my brow as I go to blend and soften any harsh edges.
Not gonna lie, doing these steps like this is literally making me anxious, because I just know that this makeup is about to come out looking 10 shades of crazy.
Another common mistake I used to do is putting foundation all over my face, including under my eyes. It's like a call for creasing and cakiness and separation.
To put foundation under your eyes, that's way too much product down there, and it's going to crease. We all have natural creases under our eyes, and all that is going to do is just get into those creases. The next mistake I see people make is swiping their makeup in. All that does is everything under your skin, it's moving it. You see how textured that looks and how crazy I look because I'm swiping it in, and it doesn't give me that skin effect. I look crazy. It's already starting to separate.
It also looks extremely cakey. So as you see, this looks absolutely terrible, so try this instead.
As I'm putting on this foundation, I want you to notice where I'm putting the foundation and the placement of the foundation, and where specifically I'm not putting the foundation. And notice how this part of my face has no foundation whatsoever. We do not want to put foundation right here in this part of your face, because that's way too much product. You're going to put your concealer there, and concealer, foundation, primer, skin prep, all of that under that one little area is way too much product. So you just want to completely do not even put the foundation under here at all. I stopped doing this a long time ago, and once I did, I noticed such a difference in my eyes. My eyes used to crease all the time. Now they no longer crease. Notice I am patting it in. I'm not swiping. Swiping causes separation and a less skin-like finish. I will say, if you're using a pump foundation instead of a foundation that has like this little tip at the end. I truly do recommend not pushing the pump directly onto your face. I recommend doing that on the back of your hand or on something else and then applying it that way, because I feel like with pump foundations you will get way too much product than what you need, especially when you're going in directly on your face. But since this is kind of like a more controlled, I'm able to start by applying it on my face and not apply too much. If you're still afraid, if you have something like this and you're still afraid to apply too much, just go ahead and apply it on the back of your hand and push the product into the brush and then go on your face and pat it. You don't want to swipe it on because it's gonna be uneven. You're gonna have product here but not here, and that causes an uneven finish on your face. One part of your face is getting more foundation than the other, and that just doesn't look natural or that skin-like finish that we're going for. The first mistake I did is I left all this product. Instead of doing the correct concealer placement, I was just going in everywhere just like this.
And another mistake I used to make here is going back in with that swiping motion. It's a natural instinct almost to want to swipe instead of pat, and once I learned pat instead of swipe, it truly changed the game of makeup for me, because all swiping did was cause separation and streaks. And as you see here, I literally just finished blending and it's already creasing.
Next, we're going to go into concealer. Notice how whenever I take the concealer out the package, there's all this excess product on there that we don't need. We don't want too much product under our eyes. It's way too much. What I like to do is take that excess, scrape it off. You don't need that much. If you're still afraid you're going to apply too much, I would just go in, put the concealer on the back of your hand, and go into a flat brush that looks a little bit like this.
And then just go into the concealer on the back of your hand and place it that way, so it gives you a more controlled placement. And notice where I'm placing my concealer differently than I did in the mistake version. I'm placing it to where it snatches my face. This is the best concealer placement I found that works for me. Also, before I start blending, I like to let my concealer sit for a second. I'm also patting the concealer in, and it just gives more of a seamless skin-like finish. And also notice how I didn't put the concealer all the way up close to my waterline into those creases. I'm gradually blending up to that area so there's not a lot of product in the creases, because once product gets in those creases, the creases are just going to naturally push it out and draw emphasis to your under eyes.
Another mistake I used to be very guilty for is blush and bronzer placement. I used to place my bronzer where my contour should have been. So I used to go in with the bronzer and I would place it right there. And I would do 3 little dots just like that. First of all, that's way too low for a bronzer. You're gonna see why whenever you blend it. I used to go in with my bronzer and swipe it.
And that creates super harsh lines, and it just dragged my face down. I was treating bronzer as if it was a contour, whenever a bronzer should go a little bit higher up on your face. And I was treating blush thinking it was snatching my face, when it was just giving me a fuller look. And I used to wonder why my blush didn't look how I wanted it to look, or just made my face feel dragged down and so full instead of snatched. It was all due to the placement of where I was placing both of these products. So try this instead. Place the bronzer slightly above the hollows of your cheeks, and don't treat it as if it's contour. Contour is cooler and bronzer is a warmer tone.
Press in, flick up. And right into that hairline. I just like when my blush meets the bronzer and blends right into the concealer, and it's all seamlessly blended together.
By placing my blush this way, I notice it has more of a snatching effect rather than dragging my face down. This is just going to create
a blended look, and it's just going to blend so seamlessly and so pretty. And I also like to take a little bit of brush right there by my nose, at the tip of my nose, to just bring some color there. I did put some bronzer by my nose as well. I didn't really show that on camera, but and it should blend right into the bronzer. And it's like it all just meets right there. They're all friends. They all meet. They're all friends. They all get along. They're a group. They love each other. Now, before we even get into powder, this is something you did not see me do in the mistake because it is a mistake. You're going to set all this together. Just like the set before I put powder on and then set immediately after I put powder on. Your makeup will last all day. Another mistake is going in with a really good powder, and since you're not doing it right and your under eyes are already creased, you look a mess. You go in with your powder, place it in the powder, don't dab it off, and just put it and set the creases. Now those creases are set. You don't ever want to set creases. That means they there. They gonna be there all day. They started there and they gonna stay there.
And now, after doing all these mistakes, you have creased, separated, dry, cakey makeup.
It don't have to be perfect. I feel like it's worth it. I know now that I've been the worst.
And the powder just emphasized that.
Catch a flight, change the weather, and I promise forever.
You should do this instead.
Now, if you struggle with creasing under your eyes, even after something like putting a loose setting / baking powder on, I recommend going in with the pressed powder under your eyes just a little bit. Press your powder puff into that, wipe off the excess, and go in and just set your under eye before you even get to the baking powder, and that just kind of sets it in place. And it's just a little trick I like to do in case you have really stubborn under eyes. Now you're going to go in with a powder. Press your powder into that, your powder puff into the product, and instead of just going straight in, because that looks crazy, baby, you look crazy, tap the excess off and then go into your face. What's that? Your bank account being saved because you fixed your technique. And that concludes today's video. I hope you guys learned something, taken something away. I hope you are like, you know what, I used to swipe, I no longer swipe no more. Swiper no swiping. And if so, my job here is done. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.